Thanks for having me. My name is Thomas. I run the marketing and operations here for the US office for Symbaloo. I moved here a little over 4 years ago from Germany, and Symbaloo is a Dutch company actually, which was founded in 2007. And in 2009, our current CEO came over to the US to introduce the product here. And it all started as a visual bookmarking tool, which it still is, but it developed into much more since then. And we quickly found out that teachers and educators were using it heavily to, share resources, use it on whiteboards, really utilize the tile-based interface. So ever since then, we're focusing heavily on our educational products. So the broad outline for my webinar today was to start with the basics of Symbaloo, because I don't know how familiar you are or you're not, and then go to our new and also free product, which is Symbaloo Lesson Plans, and then move on to Symbaloo Pro and Symbaloo Pro for districts as well, and then finish off with examples, questions, discussions, whatever it might be. I'm always happy to answer questions right away. I'm also flexible. If you all say, we've all seen this 100 times, let's just move on to something else, just please tell me. Otherwise, I'll get started now if you can all see my screen.
Yes, we definitely can see your screen. The only thing I would add, I'll be pasting my contact information into the chat window. So if there are follow-up questions or any additional types of information that people would like to express or share their interests, please feel free to reach out to me and Thomas.
Exactly. Wonderful. Okay, so what you're looking at now is the basic Symbaloo version. Actually, there is a regular version for a private use that's on www.symbaloo.com, as you see here. And then we have an educational version on edu.symbaloo.com. There's no difference, but there's less advertising on edu. There's also different content on edu, as you see here on the home screen, and also on the second Webmix, which is all edu tools. So what we're looking here is what we call a Webmix. It's a collection of tiles that you can create by yourself, use pre-populated Webmixes, and then share them with your colleagues, students, or parents. You can also embed them onto your website and many other things you can do with a Webmix. We always recommend to create an account. It's fairly easy and free. I'm going to just sign into one of mine for this demo.
And Thomas, I know you're signing in, but can you also talk about two things? One, the lliniCloud integration for identity and SSO, and then also what kind of educational use cases you've been experiencing and how that's worked well for various schools and districts.
Right, so I'm definitely going to go over the educational use cases and how schools and districts are using it. As far as the lliniCloud integration goes, I can't show you, unfortunately. So we can also only tell you at this moment that we're working at an integration where we will either replace or go side to side by the lliniCloud app launcher, which then will go through the interface that you're seeing now. Chad, if you have anything to add to that, please do.
No, that's perfect. So we've been working with Symbaloo for quite a few weeks now, and integration is going really well. We're probably a few stages away from having the full integration done. What that means for schools and districts is that people will be able to log into log in with various mechanisms and access Symbaloo without having to log in. So it's very powerful, and it works really, really well. Bernie, who's also on the call, joined us and was instrumental in a lot of that work. So it's really been very successful and moving us along.
Yes, Pannu, thank you, and we're definitely looking forward to bring this to the live environment. If there are any questions about that, if not, then I'll just go quickly back to the basics of Symbaloo.
Yeah, no, I think we're good. Go for it, Thomas.
All right. So we're still looking at a webmix. You can, if you have created an account, you can then create your own and start from scratch, and then just start creating tiles. You can create a tile by just copy and pasting it into the tile creation wizard here, or you can search for a tile or browse tiles by different categories by just selecting them and adding them to your webmix. You can also search our database here, or you can also search for webmixes in our gallery. Let's just look for math, and then you have a quick preview here. You can also go into the gallery as a whole and go through all the webmixes that come up. Then you can check one of those out. This is the preview page. Okay, this has 5-star rating with over 3,000 users. Then I can check the resources here on this preview.
Hey, Thomas, real quick, we have a question
Yes.
from Leo. Can you push out a set to students?
Yes, you can, and there are different ways of doing that. You can just, if I just go back to my account, you have the opportunity to share them with a URL, or you can also embed them onto your webmix, or which we get later to, you get on a pre-version with us, a pro version with us, my apologies, and then share them all at once. Hope this answers the question. I'll go quickly back to looking for a math webmix.
Okay, follow-up question. Can you push out to a set of students? Can you pass through the credentials using LTI?
That is currently not possible. We do have an LTI connection for our premium accounts, but there is they're not connected to a certain set of students. We offer something like that in our lesson plans. I'm going to get to that in a minute.
Great, thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, so we checked out this webmix. We like it, and so we added to our own account. And as you see right here, it is now in my account, and it has the log sign on. That means the original creator has still control over it. So whenever he or she makes updates to this webmix, my webmix here will be updated automatically as well. However, I can change that and make this webmix my own by just going into the webmix details and say stop these updates. And now I'm able to edit this and remove some tiles or turn this into a group tile. And then I'm able to again share this out with my students or colleagues. I can do this publicly or privately. Or I then can generate an embed code and share it through social media as well. Yeah, I wanted to show you how the embedding looks like, and there is also quite a neat way of using it. I think is this school district created a webmix that's called I need to. So the staff is going on this website if they figure out how to submit a work order or figure out how to print a work. So they just come to this website and check out what they need to do. I need to set up my email on my mobile device. They click on this tile here, and they get directed to the resource that explain them to them. Yeah, so these are the very basics of Symbaloo. There's much more as far as features goes. You can you have group tiles. You can have highlight markers. You can change your webmix icon, change all the wallpaper, the tiles. Is very customizable. Any questions regarding Symbaloo basics?
So there's a question from Bernie. Is the application role aware, meaning does it know who a student or teacher is based upon their login credentials and the mechanism like roster info that may be provided by a district?
Here on Symbaloo.com, no, they don't. We don't differentiate between the different kind of users. That is because the tool is, as I said, almost 10 years old now, and it's the way it was set up. Yeah.
Okay, but one can presume that once we kind of complete the integration with the IlliniCloud and identity and SSO, that role information will be available, and that you guys would can in the future take advantage of that, correct?
That is correct. That is exactly what we're aiming towards, and that would be you guys actually is going to be one of the first integrations and to make this possible moving forward.
Great, thank you.
Okay, to get our teachers and educators involved and also train on the tool, but also how to make it useful, we set up a certification program that is of 3 parts that I just want to show you real quickly, because it's also a nice way to show you how you can use Symbaloo for PD or to run a lesson or the like. This is our Symbaloo basic certification, and you just go through it from left to right. And you learn in the first line here, you learn everything you need to know about the tile, and then about the Webmix. There are quizzes and assignments, and you finish it with a final exam. And then you're Symbaloo certified, which gives you certain perks. And then there is also a PD certification that then shows you how to make Symbaloo useful with other tools. And we also have a student certification where it's just a little bit about Symbaloo, but more about digital citizenship and how to do research, how to do copyright, all of this good stuff.
And one thing I wanted to just to add to that point, we are currently in the process of, as Thomas mentioned and I mentioned, to kind of complete our integration, which we're literally steps away, which translates to about days, a week, something like that, away from that. And we are actively looking for schools and districts that are looking to take advantage of that integration. And as part of that integration and commitment, there will be a 6-month free usage term that schools and districts can take advantage of.
Yes, and that will always include our certification program. So we're gonna do the certifications, mainly the basic one for the staff, for the teachers. That's just gonna use Symbaloo on a daily basis, and then there's gonna be an additional admin tutorial / webinar where we show you the control panel of the premium stuff. But I'm gonna get to that in a minute. If there are no other questions about the basics of Symbaloo, I'm going to move on to Symbaloo lesson plans.
No, that's great. No questions at this time. So go for it.
Great. All right. So what you see here is a lesson plan I just joined with the code. Oh boy. And so what happened a couple of years ago was Symbaloo was used heavily in schools and in education, and people started to create assignments, to create homework, to create lesson plans, create entire units with a Symbaloo Webmix. So we thought we need to stay true to our slogan that says start simple and make things easy by creating a new tool that's called Symbaloo Lesson Plans that is just allowing you to, as you see here, put all kind of different resources on a digital board game where then your students can go through also different paths. So there's also a different path available for whenever you want to have your students go down a different route. Yeah, and so this is the project. It's fairly new. We're still in beta, and so I'm just gonna show you and walk you through it a little bit. And you start, and then you start with the objectives. What are we going to learn today? Okay, I got this: elephants, gorillas, sea turtles. So next one is an introduction. You see here at the bottom your progress. You can always go back to the main board game to see where you are on the board, and you just go through. Here, this is the introduction. Then there's a wiki about elephants embedded. And it always works embedded. Here's another video. And then we have our own assignment tool in here to get these questions. I know that they're between 600 pounds, so I got that question right. Then we move on to gorillas and so forth. I'll just go back to the board game to show you where we are. And this was assigned by the teacher that created this lesson plan. It was assigned with the code. So this is individually to this student, Johnny, who is on here right now. So if I go to my dashboard of the lesson plans, you can see this is the back end of this lesson plan that I created. And you can see here on the right that it's recording right now. So it is live. And I want to go now in there and see the results. So you can see here the student performance. You see Johnny and Thomas are doing good as far as the question goes. John has one question right, one question wrong. You see here in real time where your students are on the board game. So James just started here. Johnny, which was just seconds ago, is here, and so forth. Here's another overview of your assignees. Yeah, these are the basics for the lesson plan tracking and analyzing the data that comes through. And if I go back to a lesson plan, I can show you here that I have to turn off the recording before I can edit it. To your left, you see a tile creation wizard where you can put in all these different kind of tiles. So the first one is just text as a teacher instruction. Then you can plug in just a web page. You can search through Google or other web pages right here. Video, articles. You can search through your entire Symbaloo Webmix. And add these tiles immediately. You can embed. You can attach files. There's also a math formula in here which you can utilize, and a drawing graph as well. This has been quite a bit, so if you have any questions, please. Now will be a good time.
Yeah, so Thomas, so you showed us a little bit about how a teacher may kind of create the learning maps, right, and their learning progression.
Yes.
How would a teacher go ahead and start doing that? Are there a set of prescribed or learning maps that other teachers have created for similar subjects and grades that they can leverage, or?
Right. So lesson plans tend to be very, very individual for a teacher, or at least a classroom or school. So there are definitely in the marketplace, there are already many lesson plans in here, which you can, if they're shared publicly in here in the marketplace, which you can, again, as in Symbaloo, you can take a look at, you can try this lesson, and then you can add it to your own account and use it as is, or, adjust them to your needs.
Now, with the membership to Symbaloo, are those free or?
This is all free. All I've been talking about to this point is free.
Great.
Any other questions?
No, not at this time. Keep going.
Okay, great. Yeah, so this showed you the analytics. I showed you the front end for the students and how you go about editing one of those, if you let me just log out real quick. It's just gonna work. You just go to lessonplans.symbaloo.com to check it out, and that's where you also can send your students with the code. So you know, if you have students under 13 that don't have an email address which you can send it to, you can always use the session code, and which also individualizes that lesson plan to that specific student. And yeah, just log in. If you already have a Symbaloo account, you just use your Symbaloo credentials to log in, and then your Symbaloo Webmixes will automatically be connected to this again. And then you go through the marketplace to find some new ones, or you just create a new lesson plan, start from scratch with, you know, the objectives, title, how long it's going to be, etc. And then you set your start point somewhere, and you take it from there.
So a quick question from Bernie. In terms of the learning maps that are shared in the marketplace that are free, it's the authors who publish those progressions that are given access for the general community to use them, correct?
That is correct. And we have a mailing list that goes out every Wednesday with the lesson plan of the week. Those are always great to find some inspiration and find good examples of how to use it and how to utilize it.
Great, thank you.
Okay, great. If there are no other questions about the lesson plan builder, then I would move on to Symbaloo Pro. Okay, moving on to Symbaloo Pro. As you see here, let me go quickly back to, you have your own URL here. So you get a Symbaloo Pro account, and you get your own URL. That means instead of on your free account where you create a URL for each webmix that you share, you are able to share all the webmixes, all the resources you have on the one URL. So we have students and districts save that URL as the start page on all the devices in the computer lab, etc. So every student and teacher starts the same way every day in the classroom. There are additional advanced features to Symbaloo Pro that makes this quite enticing to use, and I'm going to go now into the control panel to show you what these features are. Gotta do this differently because my link expired. So 1 second. Okay, so this is the control panel or dashboard of the yourschool.symbaloo.com premium account. And as you see here in the first section is tiles and webmixes, and it's the exact same Symbaloo environment that you're already used to. The difference now is that you have different options of webmixes. You can have a static webmix, a flexible webmix, and invisible webmixes. The static webmix, as you see right here, has this little pin on here, and that means that your users that are visiting the URL or that have an account under your solution are not able to edit these webmixes. So that comes in handy when the school or district has information and has a landing page in place that links to other webmixes, that links to resources that are crucial for everyone to have. Then you would utilize one of those static webmixes, and you know that they're always up to date and cannot be edited. If you have webmixes that you want your students to edit, for example, then you just don't make them static, and they can edit them for themselves. Yes.
So Thomas, what have been the use cases where students kind of edit their own webmixes to enhance like what the teacher's already published?
Right. So you would have, for example, an assignment that has 3 to 5 tiles on there explaining it and just giving you the assignment and what to do, and then you can utilize that webmix and put your work, your homework, your research, whatever you did, as a Google Doc, for example, in here, and then share it back to your teacher. If that makes sense.
Yep, makes sense. Great.
Okay, so then brand settings, you have some customized options like your icon for your computer or the logo. Invoice, we have to charge for Symbaloo Pro, obviously. And the next interesting item is users. So you have your own users. Just like we have users on www.symbaloo.com and edu.symbaloo.com, you can have users on your own domain. So that means they, if they go to yourschool.symbaloo.com and create a free account, that means they start with the resources that are on here and not with the resources we provide. So you technically get your own users under your own solution. You can we can bulk upload all of them for you. You can then verify them, check when they last were on, things like that. You can also then message them, and you can also put restrictions for your users in place. Like, for examples, they're allowed to add webmixes, they're allowed to delete webmixes, share webmixes, change their own settings, add tiles, etc. You can also utilize the IP blocking, so you can either whitelist or blacklist IP addresses or ranges in order to just allow it in your district or not. There are also web filters in place that you can write over for your students, so you can block them by category or by also add particular websites in case you don't want your users to visit or create tiles through your Symbaloo account. Of course, if they open a new tab in your browser, then they're still going to be able to go wherever they want. But if they go through Symbaloo, then this will all be filtered through. And then we come to the LTI settings, where we are LTI consumer. So if you have the information of a LTI provider, then you can get hooked up through the LTI connection. And then for your account, there are different authentication settings. So you can require users to register and sign before getting on here. So this would be blank and it would to sign in, or you can disable the registration, and you can also offer the different account creations that we offer: Clever, Google, Edmodo, etc. Any questions about that?
And this will be where one of the IlliniCloud integration points would be displayed, correct?
That is right. So to show you a quick example, it's a fairly new Pro account that we have, but the Auburn School District made a beautiful landing page for their students. As you can see, they utilized 4 tiles. So all these 4 go to the same link. You can do that by using a simple picture slicer. We have a tutorial for that too. So they did that. They did the color coding. So these are classroom tools, elementary resources, Google tools, etc. And so this is what they set as the start page on all the devices, and that's how they have their students go on their way. And then they have one for staff as well. Showing you this because I thought this is very beautifully done.
No, it looks great. Any considerations for schools or districts that are Google Classrooms versus O365 or?
Right. So the Google Docs integration is a little bit easier for us than the O365, but we can do it both. And we tend to work better with the Google Apps for education, but both is possible, and we can also have you connected to your Office 365 through our premium account.
And how long does it take for ASD to come online with Symbaloo, and in terms of both the implementation time as well as the professional development?
Great question. So we had they started their account like 6 weeks ago, and now it looks like that, with a couple of Skype calls that we had with their technology director, I believe, and then we have support as well. So if you are in your control panel, you can directly access our support, and we'll get back to you within 24 hours. And the thing is, we're always happy to assist and help you and show you different ways. But what we've learned is, as I said earlier, everyone's doing it a little bit differently. Everyone has different intentions and goals. So we're just, we're trying to leave it open as to start you out with. And but we're always here to hold your hand and guide you through the process of creating it and setting it up.
How do you manage support issues with respect to service issues or outages, that kind of stuff?
You mean in regards to when we have an outage?
Yeah, if there's an issue with somebody trying to access Symbaloo or one of the tiles within Symbaloo, how do they go about getting support?
Right, so there are a couple of, as I showed in the control panel, you can access support. You can always access to our support team through the footer as well. And we have, so if Symbaloo is down 24 hours, we get within 5 minutes, day and night, we get alerted from our hosting provider, and then on average we're up within 15 minutes, and it's been a handful of times this year that we've been down. So knock on wood, this is a very solid solution.
So just to clarify, you have a 5-minute kind of response time, and what's your resolution time?
15 minutes.
Oh, okay, great.
Okay. Yeah, so these are also the basics of Symbaloo Pro, and I want to go to Symbaloo District, but I'd like to just double check if there are any other questions. To show you another cool example in the meantime.
Yeah, no additional questions coming in through the chat, unless anyone else has some questions.
All right, great. So the Symbaloo Pro District package is very nice for districts, and we also use it on the state level. It's a tiered Symbaloo Pro solution, and it allows one admin on the district level to oversee each of the school premium accounts. So a district has 5 schools, so then technically they have 6 premium accounts. One is the district premium account, that is the top level account that can access and control all the 5 premium accounts of the schools. But everyone gets their own control panel and domain. So to show you that real quickly, I'm going to go to yourdistrict.symbaloo.com. I'll close all of this off here. And so your district is the top level of yourschool.com. And if we go to the welcome here, there's the same welcome, because your district is actually pushing these 6 Webmixes through to the Your School premium account. And if we go into the control panel for that, just give me 1 second. Okay. Interesting. Here we go. So same concept, same control panel. This actually has the Office 365 settings enabled in case you're interested in that. So you can connect your Office 365 to your premium account. This just has to be enabled or disabled first. That's why it wasn't shown on the other one. There's also an integration with Mackin. If you work with Mackin, there is an option to deep link to books if you connect your Symbaloo Pro account to Mackin. But where I wanted to go is Tiles and Webmixes. So you see here I'm in the dashboard of viewdistrict.symbaloo.com, and I have the option to go down and immediately access the yourschool.symbaloo.com and go back, of course, as well. So this is a very handy tool for a district to keep control of the resources, also being able to share district-wide information that everyone should have, while in the same time allowing each school to do their own thing, to do their own web mixes, and to have their own users. Any questions?
Yeah, Thomas, can you talk a little bit about, so as teachers using this great tool, what kind of analytics do they have? You showed a little bit about it. So as a teacher, what kind of analytics do I have? And what kind of, as an administrator, what kind of analytics, and how does that integrate with kind of state reporting requirements and assessment information and those kinds of things?
Right. So currently we only offer analytics on the lesson plans, as I showed you earlier for the lesson plan. As far as analytics go for the pro accounts, they are available. So we can tell you how many page views you had, how many visits you had, how often this web mix has been used. But this is currently not available through the dashboard. This is another one of our big developments that we're working hard to get this into the control panel of the pro accounts, but it's currently not available. But will be in 2017.
Okay, there's a chat question from the chat. How does
Yes.
Symbaloo support mobile devices, analytics versus usage?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the
Yeah, how does Symbaloo support mobile devices, analytics versus usage?
Okay, so we support similar devices, mobile devices. We have apps for iOS and Android. You can always also use your mobile browser, and Symbaloo will do its best to show you the best resolution and the best responsive design. I'm not sure I understand the analytics versus usage part of the question.
Bernie, can you clarify that question?
Yeah, I'll unmute to do that though. What that reference was is that analytics seems to imply that there is more knowledge mining going on, but based upon what you had actually showed us, what you're presenting is a visualization of utilization statistics, not necessarily any other derived knowledge. And that was just a question for clarification around that.
Yeah, that is, yeah, you're right. The analytics that's going to be available are going to be around usage, procurement. Is this web mix useful? Is this resource helping me, the student, etc.?
Okay, so there is currently no true mechanism that helps us to evaluate how valuable was a content, only how many times it was accessed and or used. And that's okay, that's fine, that's a good starting point, but just clear definition around utilizing the term analytics, which implies there might be more.
That is right. Yes, we tend to throw around the word analytics quite a bit, but yeah, you're straight on. So right now there is the option of giving you that information. We want to move that into your control panel anyway, and obviously the big goal, looking 2, 3, I don't know how many years into the future, is then to bring on machine learning and really help make suggestions and be able to read the resources and how they're being used, etc., instead of just numbers. Okay, this tile has been clicked 100 times. Now what to do with this information? I hope this answers.
It does. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bernie. Any other questions?
No, I think this has been very helpful, and appreciate you walking us through this. I think that being able to walk through the teacher use case, which you did, is very helpful, and how students can modify the prescribed web mixes. It's been very enlightening, so it's very great.
Great, thank you. And yeah, and as I mentioned already, it is a very individual approach, but we do give you a lot of stuff to check out. There are tons of tutorials. There are tons of how-tos. There are tips and tricks. So we have, for example, an importer. So you use, let's say, you use the Google Chrome for the last 5 years to save all your bookmarks, and now you have all these folders and lists. With our importer, you can actually turn all of those bookmarks into tiles and different web mixes. And that's just one example that you can how you can do. If I find this, I don't find it anymore. How you do these multiple tiles, for example, how you do the group tiles, how you do the color highlighting, all of that you can find here. We'll give you the certifications as well, and yeah, our support is, thanks to our headquarters being in Europe, is 24 hours around the clock pretty much, and we're always happy to for you guys to get on Skype or Google Hangout and walk you through stuff, etc.
So Thomas, any kind of data import or export considerations? So a lot of great data is being generated. How does a district kind of leverage that data outside of Symbaloo? If you have example use cases of that, and in terms of kind of booting up Symbaloo, any data import considerations?
I'm not sure what you mean with data import, please.
So like roster information, and Bernie talked about roles. Just kind of, there's the Symbaloo ecosystem, but then there's data that's existing within the school district, considerations for kind of how to access that data. I know we're doing some integration work with lliniCloud, but then also, once all this great data is generated within Symbaloo, in terms of a student's progression, if you needed to use that in another capacity with another solution, how do you export that data into that nature?
Right. Okay, thank you. So, yeah, as you said, we're working now with IlliniCloud on the app launcher. We're talking to Microsoft and Google about student information, and where we are right now, and that's always our philosophy, is we're an open platform. We want to work with everyone. So it's basically you as a school district, whatever, tell us this is what we need, and then we'll figure out a way to get it to you. And there are many things in the works. There's nothing I can show or tell you specifics at this very moment.
No, that's great. That's great. That answers my question.
And yeah, so I went through my stuff. I can show you a couple more examples. I'm happy to have answer any other questions. Yeah, please just let me know.
I guess the only other question I have is kind of like, what are typical onboarding costs for a school or a district?
Right. So for a school or district, it's 60 cents per student. So we charge in 250 user increments. So it's $150 for 250 students, and then so forth. And if you use the district package, that is $10 extra per domain. So we charge for the schools in your district, and then for each premium account you have, that's $10, and that's per year. $150.
Okay. So is there any kind of, sorry to interrupt, is there any kind of implementation or startup costs that need to be considered?
No.
Okay, great.
And yeah, there's always a 30-day free trial, no obligation. If you're a bigger school or district, we're always happy to extend that because we know implementation takes time. Yeah. If you can also put in my info in the chat, email me, thomas@symbaloo.com. I'll help you out.
Great. Can you talk a little bit about partnerships with other kind of system integrators or access providers like Clever and I know you mentioned IMS and LTI. What kind of partnerships do you have with other types of plumbing types of organizations?
Right. So, pretty much we went through everything. So we have the LTI consumer level. There is an Office 365 for Office 365 connection for Pro. Keep in mind that most of the integrations, like the Mac and Office 365, Google Classroom, we use Clever. You can create an account with Clever or Edmodo and the other ones. This is all for the Pro version. The other thing is, we're in the works of the lesson plans. For example, we're in the works to get CK12 and Guru on board so that you can search through CK12, for example, immediately through our lesson plan builder, which then will also turn into, as you see here, in a center box widget. There's a really nice possible integration with Google Docs for Class, Google Apps for Education, where you can hard code at the back end of your control panel. You can set the Webmixes of your Pro account that you want a certain grade level to see on all those devices. So all grade level 7 devices start with that certain Webmix of your Pro account, and then all grade level 8 Webmixes are on the grade level 8 devices.
Now, do you currently link with kind of Common Core standards, state standards, and whatnot, and kind of?
Yeah, so standards is going to be, so we're going to have a small deploy for our lesson plans builder by the end of the month, and then we're going looking at the next 6 to 8 week sprint. So it's probably going to be after Christmas, but that's where we want to get started with the Common Core and state standard integration, so that you can, tag your content appropriately to the certain standards.
That's great. Very exciting.
Yes, we're really excited about that too. It's going to be a big step for our lesson plans. That and the content integration, and then our SSO feature with you guys and others is going to it's going to be really, really exciting and push the platform.
Fantastic. Any other questions for Thomas? All right. Well, I think this has been a great session. This has been very helpful for myself, and I'm sure others based on the feedback in the chat. So I think I have nothing further. Thomas or anybody else on the call, do you have anything else? All right. So thank you very much, Thomas. I appreciate you taking the time to walk us through this. Again, I am recording this Webmix, and I'll make it available on the lliniCloud channel on YouTube. And look forward to continuing the work that we've been doing together.
Wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time and setting all of this up. And as I said, yeah, Thomas@Symbaloo.com if you have any questions about Symbaloo.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody, and I appreciate your time today. And additional webinars are being scheduled, and so keep a lookout for your email for those topics and times and schedules. They're typically on Wednesday at 12 p.m. Central Time, and we look forward to connecting again. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chad. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Chad. Thanks, Thomas.
All right, appreciate it. Bye.
Thank you.